Hello. Sitting here at my son's cello lesson. I opted to stay in the car. We just came from, I had a pretty intense acupuncture session earlier today, and that always makes me kind of sleepy. But I thought, since I'm just sitting here, that I would do a quick video on the picture that I posted. When did I post it? Yesterday. The picture of myself. And a lot of people are asking me what my secret is. What have I done? What magic pill have I taken, right? And so I wanted to, as short and succinct as I can, tell you how I have gotten here. So a lot of you know, maybe not a lot, a few people know, that about 5 years ago, a little more than 5 years ago, coming up on 5.5 years ago, I had what they used to call a nervous breakdown. I actually would categorize it as, now I know that it was the beginning of my awakening, which I know that term is thrown around a lot. Basically just means I was kind of pushed off the cliff to see the truth of the world and to follow the path that I was supposed to be on, which I was not doing. And when you are not on your path, your soul is going to let you know. And so it was a total mental, emotional, spiritual, physical breakdown. I had, oddly, about a year before that, my husband was deployed, and I had done some drastic things to lose a bunch of weight. And I had lost about 40 pounds in a 6-month period by the time he got home. And I felt great, and I looked great, and I thought, and I was not awake at this time, and I thought that I had discovered the meaning of life. I thought, this is it, I'm going to be happy forever now, because I'm thin, because I was this certain weight on the scale. What actually happened is that it made me 10 times more miserable. I could not stop getting on the scale. It became an obsessive compulsive thing. Every time I was in the bathroom, or even if I wasn't in the bathroom, I would get on the scale, and if it was up, which is, if you know anything about weight, we all go up during the day, and we're heavier at night than we were in the morning. And I would get on all times during the day and then beat myself up because I'd gained half a pound or whatever. And I had this magic number in my head that I thought I needed to be happy. And if I got above that, then I would fast. I would starve myself. Fast, not in a healthy way. I know there are good ways to do it, but I got to the point where I was fasting more than I was eating to stay at this weight that I was at. And so it was right about this time that I had this breakdown, that I all of a sudden, I started to have tunnel vision. When I would get up from just sitting down watching TV, I would stand up and get tunnel vision. And I asked a friend of mine who had actually helped me lose the weight, who was a medical professional, and she said, just eat, if that happens again, just eat a little fat. You're probably just not eating enough good fat. And so it happened, and it was happening 10 times a day. So it would happen, and I would eat like almonds or whatever, some nuts or something, and it wouldn't help. And so then it was about this time that I had a really bad, I almost passed out. I stood up from sitting, and I had just been reading or something, and I stood up, and the tunnel vision was so bad I almost passed out. And that was when I had a panic attack, and I had no idea what it was. And oddly, I'd actually had anxiety, panic attacks, off and on my whole life, but I had gone almost a decade without having one. And so this tunnel vision facilitated, and if you know anything about what anxiety really is, not the medical allopathic bullshit, but what it really is, it's our fight or flight door gets popped open, and we forget how to close it. And so when I first started with the anxiety, I found Barry McDonough, which, if you don't know him, he's amazing, and he's healed many people just with mindset changes and thought processes changing. He's amazing. He knows what anxiety really is. So anyway, I had this panic attack, and I had found Barry after all of this, and it opened my fight or flight door, and I couldn't close it, and so I was literally trapped. I had trapped myself in a non-stop panic attack, and it went on for probably, I'm trying to remember how long it was that I went without sleeping, and I mean not 1 minute of sleep. Close to 2 months with no sleep. And when I say no sleep, I literally mean no sleep. And just in a constant panic attack. I honestly, guys, I have no idea how I survived it. I have no idea. Aside from my amazing husband and my kids being, incredibly well behaved and awesome. But I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I did it. It has been a very slow process. But what I ended up doing I sought out a naturopath. I knew that I did not want to go the traditional medicine route, which is funny that people even call it that, because that's only been around about 100 years. Traditional medicine is like Native American shamanism, that kind of thing, herbs and all those things. And just plants in general, and mindset. But anyway, so I knew I did not want to go that route, and so I sought out a naturopath who was referred to me, who was recommended to me, and she got me on this path of essential oils and nutrition, dense nutrition. And she's really the first person who taught me that we really are everything we put into our body. If you're going to put junk in, you're only going to get junk out. And so I changed drastically, cold turkey, overnight changed the way I ate. And then eventually started to incorporate it into the way my family eats. So I had to focus on myself first, because that's, to tell you the truth, that is all I could muster. That is all I could do, was take care of myself. We kind of went on business as usual with the kids, and they were eating, we weren't eating terrible. We'd been gluten-free for 15 plus years already. Because of celiac being in my family. So we'd been gluten-free, but we'd fallen into the trap that a lot of gluten-free eaters fall into, is, if it's gluten-free, it's good for me, which is not true. M&Ms are gluten-free. Not the best thing. French fries are gluten-free, and they're terrible for you. And so we were eating a very high starch diet, and we didn't really change much for the kids until I got myself, kind of back on my feet and functioning again. But what I ended up doing is, for a while I ate nothing, and I'd already gotten myself very thin in an unhealthy way, and so I had lost even more weight. And when I look at pictures now, I'm like, I mean, even now, as wonderful as I look, I was skinny in an unhealthy way, and it just didn't look right. So anyway, that happened about a little over 5 years ago, this total breakdown. And it has been a slow baby steps process, building myself back up. And not just building myself back up to where I was. I knew I didn't want to be where I was. I wanted to be in a brand new place. I wanted to be a new person. And what has happened is, I've realized that I didn't need to be a new person. I needed to be who I'm meant to be. And I was not going down that path. I was living for my kids. I was not ever taking time for me. I was not taking care of my body or my emotional state in any way. I was just ignoring it all, because I was a super mom. I had the super mom syndrome, and I had to be the best mom in the whole wide world, and despite how I was feeling on the inside. And the universe tried to send me messages over the years that I needed to do things differently, and I ignored it. So the universe has a way of dropping that piano on our heads. And I, no kidding, was standing on the edge of the cliff, and I was just pushed. And I wouldn't recommend that course of action to anybody, but it was my journey, and it is how it needed to happen for me, because I was ignoring all the messages. And so anyway, this is the backstory, but this is how it all began, my awakening. And so slowly, over the last 5 years, we had changed the way we eat, and a lot of the ways we just lived too. We moved. My husband retired from the Air Force, and we moved to Colorado, and I decided when we were moving that when we got settled in, I wanted to homeschool the kids instead of send them back to public school. for a lot of personal reasons that I don't need to get into. But, and so we did that, and I'm still homeschooling the younger two, and we love it. We absolutely love it. It has made life so much simpler. Our schedules are so much easier. We control them. We control the schedules, not the kids. We control the schedules and can add or subtract things as we see fit to keep a lot of family time in our schedule and a lot of downtime, which I think is so important. We have let go of the whole keeping up with the Joneses shit. We've let go of it all, and we have a very calm life now. And I'm not spending my days driving my kids all over the place to activities, because they don't need that kind of lifestyle either. And so, but we gradually changed the way we ate as well. So we now eat, and this is right before this whole thing started with the weight loss, we eat all organic. I would say 90-95% organic. You know, some things you just can't get organic, and some things don't necessarily need to be. But we eat all organic. We have gotten rid of all processed sugar, most processed foods. We still do, you know, the potato chips and some crackers, but I buy as healthy as I possibly can. The organic potatoes cooked in avocado oil. I mean, they're out there. They're still not the best food. You know, they're not real food, whole foods, but you know, that's going to be kind of, it's our comfort. So it's one thing we've held on to. But so we were really doing a lot right. We were eating healthy. We were moving a lot more with our kids. You know, we got a dog, so we walk a dog every day. Well, we try. We don't get out there every day, but we try. And we were just loving life. And then all of a sudden, I started to have, and this was just 4 months ago, in May, I started to have really bad indigestion, heartburn, and I'd never really been one to have that. And I had, I started to get it up into my throat, and then my throat started to feel like it was closing up every time I ate. And so, and I was freaking out because I couldn't swallow. I couldn't comfortably swallow. It felt like I wouldn't be able to swallow, and I'd be able to, but every time I swallowed, and you know, we only swallow, what, once every minute. So it was only once a minute that I was freaking out. No big deal. So anyway, I started looking into it, and I'm like, well, I eat healthy. I don't understand what's going on. And so I sought out an acupuncturist, which seemed like a very good natural modality to heal reflux. Excuse me. And that's where I was this morning, actually. I've been going to him about every couple weeks. And I found an amazing man up in Aurora, Denver area, who was the full package that I was looking for: chiropractor, acupuncturist, full Chinese medicine expert. And so I started to go, and he told me right away, he said, these are the foods you need to cut out. And then from then on, it's kind of trial and error. And so I have cut out tomatoes, potatoes, basically all the nightshades, if you know what the nightshades are, potatoes, all the peppers, sweet potatoes, even like goji berries are on the list of nightshades, which was odd, but I was drinking this superfood vitamin juice, which is wonderful, and I'm hoping to get back to it, that is primarily goji berries, which are also wolf berries, same thing, essentially the same thing. And so I cut that out as well. And so I have cut out, my van just shimmied. It's running. Maybe I should turn it off. Anyway, I have cut out since then, by trial and error, as I noticed things bothering my throat, which has been the worst symptom. I can handle an upset stomach. I can even handle heartburn and digestion, but that feeling that my throat was closing up was awful. I don't wish that on anybody, and I went through it for over a month before I finally found the acupuncturist. I don't know, I spent a lot of time in bed. God love my husband for taking care of the kids and the house and everything. And you know what? His new job allowed him to do that, and this is, you know, again goes with this amazing situation that I've manifested for myself so that I can go through this process, which we all have manifested things to help us. And so this is one of those big things. And so I have since cut out, and it's gradually, as I saw the acupuncturist, as I cut foods out, as I learned what was upsetting, you know, what was giving me symptoms and what wasn't. I have now cut out, so tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, goji berries or wolf berries, whatever you call them, whatever you want to call them. I have also cut out corn, cashews, and peanuts. Processed sugar, obviously, but even cane sugar right now is bothering me. I can't even eat chocolate. You guys feel sorry for me. If you people who know me, chocolate is dark chocolate, pure dark chocolate. That's my jam. And to not be able to have it right now is not. That's the hard part. I have cut out largely all the carbs, a lot of the carbs that I was eating. And so I've cut all these things out. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, it's not a huge long list, but it's staples for a lot of people's diets, right? And it was for us too. And I did realize that I was probably still eating a little too much sugar with even in the dark chocolate that I buy. We make this bark, which if you've ever been to my house, we always had it in the fridge. Virginia knows. But we made this bark that we called it, that was basically a really healthy raw organic trail mix with nuts and dried berries and everything, and then we would melt chocolate, but dark chocolate, I mean the good stuff, and although in the chips you can only find, like I can't find here anyway, it still had some sugar in it. And so we would melt chocolate and then we mix it all together, pour the trail mix in, mix together, spread it on a pan, and put it in the freezer, and then you break it up, like, you know, so it looks kind of like pieces of tree bark, which is why we call it bark. And it's amazing, and you just can keep it in the fridge in a container all broken up, and it lasts for quite a while. So anyway, make that because it's awesome, and I'm hoping to have that again someday. But that was our treat, and so I had to give that up. And no kidding, maybe a year we've been having that. It was always in the fridge, and I would eat a couple pieces throughout the day and have some in the evening. And so that sugar, I think, was bothering me too. But I was also eating a lot of carbs. Even though we eat so much organic and everything, there were a few things I wasn't doing right according to the universe, and according to where our existence has moved to. And if you are experiencing like discomfort from things that you've been eating your whole life, all of a sudden you can't eat them, it's because we have moved into this new energetic part of space. I don't care if that sounds crazy to you. It's exactly what's happened. And our bodies, the solar system and the planets have been, increasing in frequency for 30 plus years, and probably long before that. Just it was immeasurable, and we didn't really know how to measure it. But NASA has been following this for 30 plus years, since the 70s, the late 70s. And they know that every planet on the solar system has increased exponentially, including the Earth. Well, what do you think happens to the creatures on those planets? Everything that lives on this planet has to either accommodate and rise with the frequency or die. And so our bodies are literally playing catch up to this electrical frequency. So if you're seeing a lot of food, the universe is trying to help you evolve. Listen to your body, listen to your guidance. If something is telling you, well, I can't, that's upsetting me, I don't care how much you love that food, it's time to give it up. It's time to give it up. It's time to find an alternative. And it has not been fun. It has been baby steps. Again, like I feel like, initially when this started happening, I'm like, I can't, enough. Like first of all, I had this whole breakdown 5 years ago, but even before that, I had this whole thing with the gluten where I had to discover that I was celiac and had to give up gluten. And that was awful. And I lost 17 pounds in 20 days because I felt so awful. I didn't know what to eat, so I was eating next to nothing until I, educated myself and figured out what I was supposed to be eating. But anyway, it has just been kind of this one thing after another the last 5 years. And I fell into this pit of, this is so not fair, I don't deserve this, why is this happening to me? Until I realized it's the universe trying to help me. And I do not hear subtle messages clearly. I don't hear them at all. And so the universe knows that if it's going to get through to me, it has to, no kidding, drop that piano on my head, push me off the cliff. I don't know. I need, what do they call it, a grand gesture. I am a grand gesture kind of person. So even though I was miserable and thought I was dying again, because then, if you don't know, in February, I was hospitalized for severe pneumonia and basically told if I had waited another hour, I would have died in my bed. I was septic and they had to go into my lung and clean it out. That's how bad it was. So, and it wasn't stupidity, guys. I felt nothing. I hadn't really felt 100%, but I didn't feel sick. And it was the day of that I finally, my husband actually had to call 911 and call an ambulance because I couldn't move. It hurt so bad. That day was the first day I had had the pain. And by the end of the day, I was in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. And so it wasn't because I was stupid. I don't, I'm not so removed from our current modern society that I would just let myself die in my bed, if I couldn't heal it with this magical essential oils or whatever. I would have gone if I had known that that's what was happening. I didn't know. I wasn't coughing. I had no symptoms. And so the pain started, and like I said, within about 8-10 hours, I was in the hospital, septic with severe pneumonia. And so, I thought, okay, great. I'm checking, when I finally was recovering from that, I started to feel really good. I started to take better care of myself. I hadn't been moving a lot, and that's how the pneumonia was able to settle in. And so I started to move more and take my daily walks, and I was doing great. And I thought I'd check that box of, medical traumas, and clearly not. And so, but I really do believe that I have gone through these things in succession. It's all a layered thing. And if I had had to go through this, and like I say, reflux doesn't sound like, maybe that sounds like I'm being a big baby. But if you've ever had true reflux and you can't swallow, it's scary. It is really scary. And I was having it 24/7 for about 4 or 5 weeks before I finally went to the acupuncturist, and it has gradually gotten better, gradually. And so, but I believe that I had to go through the pneumonia so that this wouldn't seem so traumatic. And so, it's all this building me up, giving me the strength to go through the next thing. Although I really hope that this has been the last big thing. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to step into my mission and do my thing. But so I just wanted to get on. I know this is a long one, but if you wanted to know my secret, it's not a secret. It's not a magic pill. It's not, a magic superfood. I'm eating a lot less, about half of what I used to eat, because I know that if I eat until I feel full, then I'm going to have that symptom in my throat. And I will tell you, I will do anything to not have that. And so that has really helped me give up foods that I've eaten my whole life that I do miss, but at the same time, I'm not tempted because I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel good. And I got to tell you, the weight coming off, I didn't really notice. I just knew that I couldn't eat and I was hungry all the time, but I was so miserable that I wasn't thinking about the weight loss at all. I just was trying to get through the day. I was just trying to get through the hour and the minute sometimes without feeling like I was dying, without giving up. I told my husband, I'm like, everybody wants to know my secret. I'm going to make a video and tell them, well, it was really fun. My husband was on suicide watch for a couple of weeks, and he just kind of nodded. It's the truth, guys. It was so bad. And I know I've talked about this a little bit in another video, but it was so bad that I just really wanted to be taken. Just take me. And I couldn't do it. I didn't think I could do it. But I did it, y'all. I did it because I'm fucking amazing, and so are you. And you may have some things coming up that you're going to have to go through, hopefully not as bad as I have been through. I'm a first waver, I'm a forerunner. I'm going through all this so that I can help prevent the people waking up having to go through all this. Listen to your body, listen to your guidance, listen to God. He's trying to tell you something. He's trying to tell you that it's time to not go through that Starbucks drive-through every day. I'm sorry, but Starbucks is not edible. Nothing in that store is edible. You need to stop drinking that shit. I just can't even. I love you guys so much. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be around through this transition. I want everybody to be, we're coming into this new time of peace. They say we're going to have 1,000 years or more of just this amazing time on this planet, and I want you all to be here with me, because I'm planning on being here. Me and my family will be here, and I hope you want to join us. And if you do, you got to give up the GMOs. You got to give up the processed sugar. You have to give up the fast food. You have to stop eating that stuff, okay? And start going inward and praying more and connecting with source more and connecting with your body. And so you want to know my secret? It has been, I could write a frickin' book about what I have been through to get me to this place. But I absolutely know to the core of my being that this physical transformation has been part of this evolution. And we are all, if you're in it for the long haul, if you're playing the long game like I've been, we are all going to be transforming. We are all headed for vibrant health, I promise you, and sooner than people think. And not just through these things that I've been through, that I have had to, process and educate myself and figure out, tune into my body and figure out what it needed and what it didn't want anymore. But with new medical technology that is going to be good for the body, that is going to feed the body, that is going to strengthen the immune system instead of tear it down and just bombard the body with so much awful crap that then you're sick the rest of your life with other stuff. So it's going to be new medical technology. It's going to be transformation. I just happen to be going through it as a first waver, as a forerunner, so that I can help those coming after me to get through this a lot easier. And so, and I got to tell you too, one thing I didn't want to forget to say, talking to my acupuncturist, who's also chiropractor, Chinese medicine, he's amazing. So like-minded, like we just have so much to talk about, and it's wonderful to talk to him. And his sessions have really helped me heal. But I have had to do the work, you guys. You can get acupuncture, you can get energy work, you can go to a chiropractor, but if you're not processing and dealing with the things that you're doing to your body, putting in your body, then it's not going to help in the long run, in the long term. It's not going to make any big positive changes in your life, and you'll just be stuck where you are right now. If that's what you want, great. But weight loss, weight management, and I know I look great. I know I look good. But the point is, I feel good. And you know what? It's okay to feel good about looking good. And that has been something I've had to come to terms with too, because I've never, and I don't want any comments on this because I'm not fishing, I promise. I've never felt beautiful, ever, until now. Now I've never felt better. Even at 17, 18, I didn't feel this good. Of course, I was an idiot, like most of us are at that age. But what I wanted to say about the weight loss is it's been a side effect of me healing my body, mind, spirit, soul. I've been healing it all in the last 5 years. And the weight loss, the transformation, my body is shaped different. I can't even explain it, you guys. I have a waist. I've got some hips. I mean, this is not even, can't be explained by simple weight loss. There are other things at work here. Magical cosmic forces. But the weight, if you go to, the weight management, or the weight, extra weight, if you have extra weight on you, or if you feel like you do, a lot of people feel like they do and they don't. There is something to be said for some healthy fluff, all right? We don't all need to look like Twiggy. And if you don't know who Twiggy is, youngins, look her up. We don't all need to look like Kate Moss. I don't know who you identify with, but we don't all need to be stick thin. We need to have some meat on our bones for times, for lean times, when there are times when we don't have, that's built into our DNA. But if you feel like you have extra weight on you, that is a symptom of something else. That is not something that you can go, oh, I just want to lose some weight, give me a magic pill. Like my chiropractor acupuncturist was saying this morning. He said people come to him and say, I just want you to tell me what I can do to lose some weight, but I don't want to change my diet. I'm sorry, that's not possible. That is not possible. And he said he would just look at them and say, you're in the wrong place. That's not what he does. He is in it for long-term vibrant health. And that's I got to tell you, I'm so happy, I want to cry, that I have found this man, Dr. Eric Choi. Anybody who's in the Aurora, Denver area, even in the Springs, even down here in Pueblo, anywhere in Colorado, seek him out, because he is a frickin' magician. He is very educated and intelligent, and just, he's so smart in healing the whole body, not just, oh, I want to lose a few pounds, or, oh, something else. Oh, I have this rash. I mean, these are all symptoms. Extra weight is a symptom of something going on in your body. So, or your mind, or, but it's all connected. It's all connected. So if you can find a way, like I have learned to meditate, I have learned to connect to my intuition, I have learned to do energy work on myself. I have done so much energy work on myself. I'm a freaking expert. I can do energy sessions. I have kind of gotten away from it because I was so busy healing myself, but I do energy sessions, and I do card readings to maybe tell you, energy readings to maybe tell you what your body is asking for. If you are having trouble tuning in, I do that, and I can help. Just message me if you want to talk about that. But that's not why I made this video, I promise. So, I mean, my mission is going to be not quite that kind of thing, but I do enjoy doing them. I do, of course, I love helping people. That's what I'm doing here. I want everybody to feel as amazing as I feel. I want everybody to feel like they look as amazing as I feel I look. And it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel you look. Because I do believe that we're meant to be all shapes and sizes. Obviously, unhealthy overweight is not supposed to be in our programming, but there should be all different shapes and sizes of healthy people. So you don't ever compare yourself to anybody else. Don't think you have to look like anybody else, because you're you. So anyway, that is my people who wanted to know what I have done to look like I look now at 47, almost 48 years old. Guys, I'm pushing 50, and I've never looked better, and I've never felt better. And I am grateful. I am in such a place of gratitude right now for the synchronicities that have been put into place for me, finding this amazing acupuncturist, Dr. Choi in Aurora, and his lovely wife runs the office. And my amazing husband, who has provided this safe place for me to process all this stuff, and his new job that I totally believe I manifested, that has allowed me to take time for me and let him take care of the family and the kids and run the house for a while, which is okay. I had a lot of guilt about that, but that's okay. That's a good thing. So a lot has happened that has gotten me here. I would say just tune into your body, follow your intuition, one step at a time. That's all you can do. Because if you are shoved off the cliff like I was, I don't envy you. And it's not that you can't do it. It's not that you won't be able to do it. You can do it. It's just not going to be fun. So that's why I'm urging you to listen now. Start listening now. Make that next step. If you know, hey, maybe this Starbucks probably isn't the best for me. Sorry, I'm harping on Starbucks. Hopefully Starbucks doesn't sue me now. You suck, Starbucks. If you know that maybe this, these crappuccinos are nothing but sugar, and sugar is one of the worst things, if not the worst thing, that we put into our bodies. If you know that you're eating too much sugar, just try to eliminate from your diet one food at a time that you know is not good for you. And that is my advice. And one step at a time. Start moving a little more. Don't worry about, oh, I have sat on my couch for 2 years. Tomorrow I'm going to start doing P90X or whatever the hell that stupid thing, insanity workout. Nobody needs those workouts. I will tell you right now, nobody needs to work out that much. It's all at least 80% what we put in our bodies and our thoughts. So it's a body, mind, spirit connection. But we don't need that much. If you have we can have active lifestyles. We can just do more physically, walking the dog, going to the park with the kids and not just sitting on the bench, that kind of thing. Just moving a little bit more throughout the day. You don't need to do these intense workouts. So anyway, I didn't mean to get on my soapbox about that, because I know there are people I love who love the workouts, and wonderful. That's working for you, great. I just feel like maybe don't be so dependent on it to make you healthy if you're not doing things in other areas of your life to improve, right? The eating, the mindset, the mental talk. Our subconscious is like a tape recorder that is on constant. It's on 24/7, and it just keeps playing over and over and over again. And a lot of us have these negative self-talk recorded on this tape. And you can change what is recorded on there. You absolutely can. You just have to be mindful and aware, and you have to actually you have to actually make an attempt. You have to focus on it. You have to actually think, okay, anytime you think, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, shift it. Even if you don't believe what you're saying, shift it and say, you know what, I have great legs, or I really like my shoulders, or I have beautiful eyes. And just keep doing that until it becomes automatic. And like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years, you guys. It takes time. It takes time, but I don't regret anything. I wouldn't change anything, because I am an amazing warrior goddess now that is unstoppable, and I am ready to step into my purpose in this life, and I'm here to help you. That's what I've been going through all of this for, is so that I can turn on and help people go through it, because we are going to all be catching up with our bodies. I know you're feeling it. Admit it. You're feeling it. It feels different. Something about the world feels different. Something about your body feels different. Our physical bodies are trying to catch up, are catching up. There's no trying. There is no try. Do or do not. And the do nots are just going to leave this earth. And I think you know if you're one of those. You would know if you're one of those. Chances are you're not. So it's time to take better care of ourselves. It's time to let go of everything you think you know about how our body works, how our body heals, because it's all changing. It's all changing, and mindset is so important. Intention is so important, but we still need these physical bodies, even as we've moved into this 5D, fifth density reality. The Earth, the solar system is now in. Even though we've moved into that fully, we still need these physical bodies, and we need to take care of them. And we need to learn how to take care of them in this new 5D, because the rules have changed. The rules have changed, and it's not only not okay to have the Starbucks even once in a while, but it's just not going to work for you anymore. There will come a time where you're going to eat these favorite foods or whatever, and even it'll eventually you'll become so averse to them you won't even want them. So that's and your body will want the good things. So phew, sorry I rambled on for so long. I thought I was really sleepy. Apparently I just needed to get all that out. So if you really want to know my secret, you got to watch this whole 36-minute video. Sorry, because that is what I have been doing. You don't have to do exactly the same things. In fact, you won't do exactly the same things. Exactly the same things will not work for you. You are on your own path, but something in this video may have resonated with you. If something triggered you, something I said triggered you, like made you upset or angry, then that is probably the next thing you need to focus on, because it's triggering you for a reason. Your ego is saying, no, 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 don't listen, don't listen. And so pay attention to that. Pay attention to that, and one thing at a time. You can do this. You can do this, and I'm here if you need anything. I love you guys. Bye.